Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. Yet again, I brought on another fantastic group of guests. But please, first, hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And once again, please go on Kickstarter, go check out the Oswald Chronicles. These are the two books I'm currently offering. Also, check out the Fellowship of the Indies. And without further ado, let's bring on our co-host, Mr. Mark Torres. How are you, sir? Please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Happy Easter. Happy Passover. This is Mark Torres that came from the radio, the official of the Big Apple Con. I am your co-host on Indy Comics Explained with Mr. JD Calderon. I do want to mention that you only bring me on holidays because I was here on Oscar Day. I missed the slap. I was here on the Super Bowl day, and now I'm here on Easter.
I didn't know Super Bowl day was a holiday.
Depends who you are.
Exactly.
So who else do we have on this wonderful panel?
We have our co-host, Mr. C. Michael Lanning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. And Super Bowl day is a holiday, especially if you're waiting to get your mail in. So,
okay.
Straight up tell you, they'll put your package on a back porch you don't even have. Hey everybody, I'm C. Michael Lanning, independent artist. Done work for Arrow Comics, Ethereal Comics, and others. Some more to come. I'm also a host on Dispatches from Outside the Box, which is on the Raging 2 network on Tuesdays at 9 Eastern. So, I'm ready to put some people in the hot seat.
Yes. How you doing, Christie?
Hello, how's it going?
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Christie Shinn. I actually am the creator in Torres Studios, my own company, and I do a comic called Demon Bitch. It's about girls I hate. And it's got a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she's stupid. And I'm running a Kickstarter on the fourth book called Triggered because that was me stuck with her stupid ass for 2 years in COVID. It's therapy. So it's a really funny Kickstarter. You should back it because I'm about $2,000 away.
Nice. And the link is in the show notes. And we have Mr. Carlos Raphael. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, I am the publisher of Champion Comics, American Revere, Team Supremus, The Remarkables, as well as a bunch of others, as well as Coalition Comics Power Company. I am at my son and daughter-in-law's house, so hopefully the internet holds up. So I'm in a completely new environment. So. But looking forward to a good show.
Nice. Okay.
Hey.
We have Mr. Randy Zimmerman. How are you, sir?
I am fine. I am Randy Zimmerman. I'm a longtime alternative and independent comics creator, Arrow Comics, Little Caliber, Little Antarctic, Little everybody working there last, 3-4 decades. So right now I do the Zimcast over on Raging 2 Network on Wednesday nights, and I co-host with C. Michael on Dispatches from Outside the Box, and I do a show also on Sunday morning. If you're ever around, you want to talk about or listen about comics that we love, I have the Sunday Funnies program at 9 a.m. on Sundays.
So, all times are Eastern Standard.
All times are Eastern Standard, yes.
All right. And here, I was wondering what happened.
The richness.
I just saw a blank box, and I was just like, because I couldn't see in the little thumbnail. I think he was drawing. All right,
that's perfectly fine to me. I don't care.
That's a good look, right?
Wait! Who said that? Who said that's perfectly fine with me? What is that supposed to imply? That I'm ugly? I am.
I don't think he's implying it. Go ahead.
Well, who said it? I want to know who said it. I'm gonna get all gangsta up in this.
That guy in that corner over there.
Don't make him climb out of the box and get over there.
JD panel chat, Perotta.
Hi. JD, thank you for having me on your show, man. My name is Rich Perotta. I am a former Marvel and DC inker for a little bit over a decade. For the last 7 years, I've been roaming around in the independent circuit, working on numerous titles for numerous studios. And in March 2021, I self-published my first title, my graphic novel series called The Incantessi. And issue 3, I already have issue 1 and 2 out already. Issue 3, hopefully should be done by August, with the conclusion of the 4th chapter most likely in February 2023.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's a pain in the ass. Hello, future listeners.
That's from that guy.
Why are you commenting and you're here? Hey.
Hey, Wilson.
What's up, Wilson?
That was
I've
me
known
from
Wilson
the
for
past.
1,000 years. JD panel chat. Oh, someone got a sad face with my name on it. Oh, I'm
I don't know
sorry.
what that's all about.
Cameron Christopher. Hello. Damn.
Damn. All right. So let's get this show on the road. All right.
Sure you want to?
Say that again.
I said you sure you want to with the rich.
Yes. Listen, I mean.
Well,
look,
because I'm here.
The show must go on.
The show must go on regardless. Y'all happy Easter. What's up, Karen? Happy Easter. All right. So my question is this: it's very simple. Who's running a campaign? And if you're running a campaign, what are your all right? We all have our set goals. Like I'm running a campaign, I have my set goal. I've already achieved that goal. I'm past that goal, but whenever you set a goal, you always have another goal right behind it. So my question to you is, what is that next goal? And for those of you who are not running a campaign, when are you going to run a campaign, and what are your goals for that campaign?
Well, currently, go
ahead, Christy. We'll start with you. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm running a campaign currently right now for Triggered. The campaign is called "You All Suck," and
Alexa.
it's Mary Zorlita Bellamy
25%.
with the 3 prints that she's going to be signing, and a charm. It's like the Animu Demon, which is like a Sailor Moon but demon bitch version, which is pretty ugly. So I don't know why anybody would want it. And then you've got the basically the Tamabichi pins with the 2 glow in the dark expressions on it. They're enamel size pins. And we actually did have some original artwork, but that sold real quick. So we've got a few more pieces of original art. And then we've got a tiki patch and a tiki sticker with that. And the goal is at 7K. We're at 49.22 at this moment. So we'd like to hit 7K very, very, very soon, because here's another goal too. Rich will go and let me see if I can point downward. He's going to go and put on the pasties and dance when we hit 7K. And then at 7,500, we're going to go and have the book be hardcover, or we're going to print some hardcover versions of the book. And then after that, what we're going to do is that we're going to go and I think at 8,000, I put in a pair of free pasties, or a fucking dollar store, electrical tape, so you can pretend to be Demon Bitch. Just don't do it in front of your parents, okay?
Or your kids.
And then the last one, maybe I'll make a magnet or something after 8,500.
All right. Nice. Hold on. Wilson says, I've known JD longer, Rich.
Well, I don't care, Wilson. Fuck you then.
Wilson's a good guy. He went to school with Daphne. That's why I know him.
Well, I know. But I also I worked with Wilson and he also was my assistant inker, background inker guy. So yeah, Wilson, maybe that, but I employed you. So,
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, who's the bigger dick here?
I might send Wilson a link. All right, Mr. Raphael, what do you got?
I got no campaign, but I will be running one in June. So that will be for the New Remarkables #2. There's #1. That campaign ended a long time ago. I ran the 2 campaigns that were both successful a few months ago, and now I've got the one coming up in June for issue #2. Pages are done. I'm just waiting for it to get colored so we can use some of that promo material on the campaign. Hopefully this time we'll hit 7,000, 7K. Christy, is that your first one?
My Kickstarter, it's my 4th
Third?
one.
4th or 3rd?
Let me look here. Let me look.
She lost count.
Oh, it's my 4th one.
There we go.
Okay.
This
It
will
is
be
your 4th one, okay.
Because I was like, if it was your first one, 7K, that's rather ambitious. But yeah, if it's already your 4th. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for, my goal is going to be 7K. We hit the 6K mark with this last one. It was funded in the first 24 hours, so hopefully we can kind of keep that momentum going and hit the 7K mark this time. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
Yeah, that's good.
And not let life get in the way, because I've had a lot of rough things going on lately. So almost canceled this appearance, but
Jeez.
couldn't miss being with you guys.
Aw.
Well, we are happy to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a good like just my focus to take away from what's going on right now. It's not good. It's my mother's in the hospital, and
Oh,
yeah, there's some
Sorry.
issues going on. Thank you. But so it's a good distraction right now.
All right, cool. I mean, hopefully everything works out.
Thank you.
I'll keep making an ass of myself so you can laugh and forget about shit like that. So.
There we go.
Yeah,
things.
Randy, what do you have? You have anything coming up? What's going on?
I am part of that Fellowship of the Indies and that Long Shots campaign. Long Shots over on Indiegogo, Fellowship of the Indies. I have a book, a couple of books there, plus a couple other books that I helped get into print as part of that wonderful deal. And go over there and check out those campaigns if you can. I am working on a graphic novel right now of my COVID experiences that I plan on releasing as soon as I'm going to put out a sign-up page as soon as I'm confident that when I will be done with it. But there's still a lot to do on it, and I've got a lot of commercial work I'm in the middle of right now, so I won't be able to even look at the doing more on the graphic novel for at least a couple days. So I'm hoping I can get back to it and get through it. So
All right, nice.
that's the next thing. After that, I don't know. I got a couple books that need to be printed and got another graphic novel that I was in the middle of before this big deal happened, and this big non-deal, I should say, happened. And I'll probably get back to that as well. So.
Yeah, I just got over COVID myself. Thank goodness I was triple vaxxed, because even with the triple vax, it messed me up for a good week, where and it was trying to get into my lungs really bad, but luckily again the vax held up, but I was like completely disoriented for days, like the worst head cold ever. So I could only imagine if I wasn't, I probably would be in the hospital.
Well, I went to the hospital to get antibiotics, and I ended up waking up 6 weeks later after being on a respirator and trached and all of that, and unable to move. So
yeah, I'm glad you're better.
Experience all the way up till today. Yeah.
Buck Rogers. Holy shit.
Yeah, I've been incredibly lucky compared to a lot of other folks. I had the doctor tell me that they definitely thought I wasn't going to make it a couple of times. So he said I died twice and came back twice, and the way he explained it to me is most people of my situation would have gone one way, but I decided to go the other way.
Man, and, when you were in that big sleep and everything, did you have like a little robot that said "itty bitty bitty bitty" or something like that?
No, nothing like that. But I did. I did a lot of crazy things, though. I traveled on a train out to the West Coast and was involved in a couple of Survivor type games, and
Jesus Christ.
Won those barely. I was tucked into a capsule filled with gas with a plunger in the front of it, and rammed up against another capsule that was also filled with gas and a plunger in front of it. And the one that didn't blow up won, so I won that twice. So got buried buried alive for a while. That survived that. Traveled with Hart Fisher of all people on a Halloween type train, suspended in a black spider web, but just did all sorts of. I attended Taylor Swift's wedding to Zac Efron and spent time with her wonderful Asian family. So as
a wonderful Asian family.
Yeah, I was in Minneapolis. They're great people. I was in Minneapolis for a little while. I swore I was in Minneapolis, and I was helicoptered back to Michigan in a large yellow hammock. And come to find out, I never even left Flint. So
wow, that's a good shit, man. I got.
It's going to make a great book, is what it is, because all of those dreams are still real to me, which is crazy. And it took me about 2 weeks after I woke up to really wake up and come back to reality.
Yeah.
Mm.
My God, man.
It's a crazy,
drugs-
it's
I've
a
always
crazy time, and I
wondered-
learned a lot while I was under. Believe me.
I've
Learned a
always
lot.
wondered how it was like for someone who was under for that amount of time. The dreams are constant, and I imagine.
Oh,
and
they plugged me with all sorts of crazy drugs. In fact, when I got over to the nursing home, they went through the list of everything that they were still packing into my feed tube because I was fed through the stomach
Oh,
while I
damn.
was under. And the social worker who read the list just freaked when she came to one, and I don't even remember the name of the drug. I'd have to look it up. But it starts with a Q, and it's a psychotic narcotic. She said nobody should be prescribed, and it took them 2
Wow.
weeks to wean me off of it.
Jesus.
wow.
Yeah,
It was
they
it was
gave
that
you-
deadly, I guess. So
I bet. So it's kind of cool to join the club of like flipping off death twice. I was there too.
oh, phew.
Like,
I don't feel like it though. I don't feel any different. Everybody goes, "Well, you came back for a reason." I said, "Well, if I did, it was to make more funny books." So here I am.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have
I-
more. You have more books to write.
I
think
do.
it's like you kind of have more of a I don't give a fuck attitude anymore. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Well, I was under about the same time that Luke Stone went under, and
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, both
I've
of
been
you.
really lucky compared to what Luke's situation is. Luke came out of it a lot worse than I did,
Mm.
but I've climbed back a lot faster because everybody tells me it's just force of will. You know, I fought to get back to normal, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm about 95% there. I'm still, a little weak in the legs and the actual core, but I'm still 65 pounds lighter compared to the 100 pounds that I lost by the time I got to the nursing home. I was 100 pounds thin.
Damn.
Looked really emaciated. The wife didn't recognize me when she first came into the hospital. Got a picture though, which is kind of cool. She says, "I took a picture of you just so you could see how whacked out you looked." Okay. So,
God,
yeah,
that's crazy.
but yeah,
Rick-
yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be alive.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Mhm.
Yes,
Rick,
JD.
what do you got, man? What do you have? What's coming up in your future? What do you have going on?
Well, I'm developing something else that's going to be a little bit of a departure, a lot more risque than I'm usually used to putting out.
Mhm.
But in the meantime, I rewrote chapter 3 because it was a while that I worked on it, and I read the whole thing, and I was like, this is a little bit convoluted. Let me see if I can narrow it down, which I did, and I condensed some areas with it. I actually put a little bit more real world scenarios into what the hell I was doing because I was like, wow, this is a little bit too. This is like I was reading it and I was like, Jesus Christ, half this thing is like a plot device. What the hell am I doing? So I just was like, I scrapped 3/4 of the issue, and then I wrote a whole bunch of it afterwards, and I kind of finished writing it like a couple of days ago, and I worked on thumbnails for the pages that I haven't drawn yet. Finished 10 pages of layouts in the span of like a couple of days. I have another day off tomorrow because it's a bank holiday here in the UK.
Nice.
And yeah, I live in the UK and it's almost 1:00 in the morning. So yeah, I know. And I'll probably do another 4 or 5 pages of layouts. I want to lay out the whole book before I start to draw it because whenever I do anything like that, I do it in stages. Like I'll have it written, and then I'll have the pages laid out according to what I see, and then I'll draw the pages. And it like in each page, if there's any type of thing that I may want to change, I'll just change it at that point. That's the only thing I have to worry about with me is feature creep because it's like I did it all the damn time because I'm like, wait, this is cool. But now I got to fix the last 10 pages to match this new continuity now, so I'm fucked. So there's that, and hopefully I'll have it all done by August. I'm considering getting a colorist for it because I work full time now, so I can kind of afford it. I definitely have a letterer for this time instead of me lettering the damn thing because that was the most torturous part, believe it or not. And the other one that I'm working on, I've posted a couple of pieces of art, and I'm not too sure when I'm going to make an announcement. I spoke to the person who I was supposed to work with it on today, and he's nowhere near even started on the story, even though I approached him about it about 10 times. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to write it. And then it's like, nah, I haven't had time because, oh, God, I just bought this condo down in Florida. And I'm like, I don't really care. I love you, man. You're my best friend, but I don't give a shit if you bought a condo in Florida. Are you going to write the damn thing or not? you know, and he's not, and I don't think he is. I don't blame him or anything, but I'm like, you know what, fuck it, because I already wrote the story for the damn thing, so I'll just do it myself, like I always do. You know, so and yeah, I admire everybody here who got sick and was doing it, because when I drew, wrote, colored, and lettered the first chapter of my graphic novel, I was going through cancer treatment, which I thought was great. 2 surgeries and a month and a half of radiotherapy and a dead kitten, which really sucked.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that was heartbreaking. So yeah, it's just like with Ralph, with Zim, Sexiest Man Alive, and Miss Demon Bitch. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride since we started doing this.
Well, it's kind of funny how that weird stepping stone happened, because like I got the tumor first, and then you talked to me, and then when you got your
yeah, I know, you're like Typhoid Mary. Talking to you gave me cancer. Fuck. I love you, Christy. Thank you for thank you for the gift of communication.
Just kidding.
She's gonna mail you a call. All right, hold on. Let me go through a couple of these. Kids love Demon Bitch.
No, you read that. You read that wrong. I'm sorry. Kids love Demon Bitch.
Kids love a Demon Bitch.
Yes. Hi, chat.
Hey, chat. Hey there, the Ninja Genko.
Yep. Broadcast. Happy Easter. That nice hat. Great show setup. I think the nice hat is for Mr. Carlos. Mr. Michael, what have you got, sir?
I have nothing. In fact, I hope as far as having a Kickstarter is concerned, I'm waiting for a guy to finish a script so that we can do that book and hopefully have a Kickstarter that I might actually get paid for this time. So that would be really
you deserve it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
I have
See, Michael, you're a very good cartoonist, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I have it on good authority that person actually finished the story.
No, I don't believe it.
What?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's amazing.
You haven't seen his best stuff, Rich. He's gotten a lot better since the last time you saw him.
I saw it a month ago. What, he improved that quickly?
Oh yeah, yeah. You should see the stuff I've got, and the stuff
If
Jake
you
will get will
probably
be
seen the
good too.
Facebook stuff. I hope you haven't seen the reject stuff. I don't even want to get into that.
My stuff's in the reject pile. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Demon Bitch is always in the reject pile. I don't know how she gets published.
Yeah, but my stuff's not worth putting on the bottom of a bird cage at this point right now, so.
Let's go all like nag each other's artwork down, our own artwork down, to see who could be a little more. Oh yeah, mine's in the toilet. Mine's at the bottom of a fucking ghetto bathroom.
Well, I'm the complete opposite. I mean, I'm only doing this because I'm having fun with it. I'm a complete narcissist. I think my work is the greatest that it ever fucking existed. So, all of you eat shit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. There you go. Exactly.
I almost spit on my face. Oh my god.
I'm kind of
We'll feel the same way.
I'm kind of one of those people that I can take Demon Bitch, and if there's a shitty review on it, I can say, yeah, even people don't like her. I don't know why the fuck I do this shit.
Nice. Mr.
I
Torres.
had one. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, JD.
Wait, I want to hear this, Rich. Go with the story. This is gonna be awesome.
Well, I had this one guy. Holy shit. He owns this indie comic book shop in Nottingham. And boy, does he hate Americans. And does he hate Marvel Comics? And I work for Marvel and I'm American. So this prick, I brought over my book to see if he would want to try and see if maybe he can display it in his store. Forbidden Planet here did, and another store did, but he was like, he has his handler email me and say, he really liked what you wrote. He would love to talk to you about it. I'm like, okay, great. So I go there, and the first thing he says to me is like, I go, yeah, hi, I'm Rich. I'm the guy who drew this. And he's like, oh, I had fun reading it. It was amazing that it was an American comic that didn't have things blowing up all over the place. And I'm just like, I see where the fuck this is going to go. So, and it's just like, he takes it, and this dismissive little bitch, he takes it and he drops the book in front of me and he goes, I'm afraid I can't have it here in the store. And I'm like, well, why is that? I'm like, I thought you liked it. He's like, I did, but it would take me an hour to tell you how this book will fail miserably. And I'm just like,
Wow.
I'm like, wow. Do I remind you of someone that dumped you? I'm just like looking at him. I'm just like, he really thought I was this savage piece of shit. I was just like, man, that hasn't happened to me since, I was in special ed. I'm just like, son of a bitch, dude. I left the store. I didn't say anything because it turns out this asshat is friends with a whole bunch of like some of the British pencilers here, like Steve Dillon and fucking Frank Whiteley or something. And I'm told that it's like, oh no, don't get him upset because if you do, he'll talk to the other pencilers. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'll smack your ass, you limey piece of shit. But I realized that he's like this short, fat, bald dude. And I'm just like, all right, you already have a miserable existence and no one loves you. So I don't really give a shit. And you're ugly too. It's like.
So when he went on the short bus, he really was on the short bus, huh?
Oh no, he wasn't. He was the schmegma coming out of the tailpipe of this short bus. That's what he is.
Nice.
That's all he is, man.
I like it.
See, I knew the story was going to be worth it.
Well, he's not.
So was it like you could have envisioned him like seeing he was one of the lollipop kids, the ones that didn't pretty?
No, he's one of the lollipop. He looks like a lollipop kid if he suffered from gigantism. It's like a stretched out little person.
The views of the show's host and guests do not necessarily reflect.
Pops has that already said for me. No, it's this guy. No, it's like Well, what gets me really is the fact that he like just judged me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like a lot. I would hope to think that none of us really had that all the damn time growing up or doing what we do and all that stuff, because being artists and everything like that, we're kind of branded a little bit, especially in our youth, a little bit outcasting or whatever it's supposed to be. And I think it's a really shitty thing when it's someone who is within your field to treat you that way. And the one thing that I remember, I'm looking at it and I'm like, if I was like maybe 15 years younger, I would have reacted a little bit more. But I look at a person like that and I'm like, how sad must you be to say that to a human being who is new to your country, in the middle of COVID, by the way, and just wants to reach out. I mean, if you don't like me, you don't like me. That's one thing. You don't have to embarrass me in front of the customers that you had there to make me feel like a piece of crap, which he did not. But
just remember, Rich, it would have taken him an hour to tell you what was wrong with your book. So
it
must be pretty damn good if it's going to take him an hour to figure it out.
That's what I was
I'm surprised that he was able to figure anything out. He doesn't look like the sharpest tool in the shed, and I think he's more, not so much the friend of everybody. I think he's the hanger-on, like the gopher, because he takes pictures of like some of the exhibits that they're at and everything, and he follows them around. It's like, here, I have the piss bucket. You may piss in it, and I'll just carry your pee for you. Just like, I'm sorry?
While you're drinking a beer, it looks like pee.
While I'm drinking a beer with well, it's not a beer, actually. It's a cherry blossom. It's cherry blossom tea.
It still looks like piss. I mean, that's all we're saying.
It is piss. It's tea bag piss.
Oh.
It's been sitting around for a while. The winos drink it.
Right.
Yeah, I know. We let it ferment for a little while. We put a little peach in there and let it sit out in the sun for a week.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
so Daphne, hold on, let me interject. Daphne says, how is it that collectively we have the worst self-esteem with our work, but insult our work to our face and I'll fuck you up?
Well, it's because that we can say whatever the fuck we want about our work. That's it. I'll be as demeaning to my shit as I possibly could. Say one thing about my work to my face, I'm like, oh, you're gonna get smacked, bitch.
I just gotta laugh at them. It's like usually the people that shit on my work. It's like you didn't win any fucking awards for that. I fucking did. Fuck you.
Yeah,
It's kinda
exactly.
like
Thank you. My first campaign was 3,500. The next one was 5,000, and I did it all myself with cancer treatment. So eat a dick. You know, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the sibling thing where, oh, I could say whatever the heck I want to about my brother or sister, but you say something, then we're gonna fight.
Yep.
So,
Oh, I don't care if anybody says anything about my siblings. They can all eat a dick too. I hate them as much.
okay, normal people, I guess.
I'm not normal, so you know.
It's funny 'cause when
We're all in comics, Rich. None of us are normal.
That is true. No, but you see, Randy here is the sexiest guy in comics. Period, man. It's just like, you know, a couple of weeks ago. I'm gonna out you right now, there, Randy. I gotta tell you. I had one of those flyers and everything shown to me by a friend of mine who was spying on you, Randy. And it's like, I had no idea that you were headlining at Magic Mike's as like the featured act for all the women's and shit.
That's because you only see me from the chest up.
No, if I saw you from the chest down, I may, you know, switch teams and everything like that. You know,
Could be.
I'd probably be probably like, whoa, what the hell is that, ball stag?
Understand?
Oh God.
I got collectively hit on at WonderCon, and this is hilarious. Like you're like, oh well, you're a woman, you get hit on. Yeah, okay, I get it. But I got hit on all the four corners of the sexual spectrum. It was really fucking weird. Like straight guys hit on me. Then really, like you guys would have found these chicks gorgeous, like lesbians, like fucking hit on me like crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Then I had straight women come up to me and say, "I totally turned gay for you," and I had one gay guy said, "I would totally turn straight for you," and I'm like, "Cool."
You got the trifecta right there. You got the bingo going on right there.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's like a 4-issue trilogy. Holy shit!
That's when you bring that bell and go ding ding. We have a winner.
Yeah, so some shithead tries to talk down to me. I'll be like, I got all four corners of the major sexual.
Oh my God!
It was funny. I was just like, I mean, I just went up and was talking because, like, I got elected president of CAPS, Comic Arts Professionals Society, and I was just saying some of the people that were in the con because I felt like I needed to do presidential duties and all that. Joking, a lot of them are my friends anyway, and I just got hit on while I was walking across the floor. I was like, okay.
Nice. Well, Chrissy, at least you know your options are open. Mark.
Yes.
Yes.
What is your answer, sir? What do you got coming up? If not, what do you have going on?
Oh, you mean that question that was asked 20 minutes ago?
Yes, sir. Well, you passed it on, so you said
answer. So yes, I have my first Kickstarter campaign is going to be coming out in the summer, as Wilson Ramos, if he's still around, knows about, for Apex Comics Group. The goal is to make enough money to make the second Kickstarter campaign for the second issue. That is basically the goal, is to pay enough to make sure I make enough money to pay for the next one.
All right, cool. And Rich, I was gonna say earlier, if you need a letter, you talk to your boy Wilson. That's what he does.
No.
Sorry, Wilson. I tried, bro. I tried. You know, I tried.
No, I probably will at some point. Now, the letterer that I have is like maybe a mile away from me.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, and this guy, not only will he letter the pages, but he'll also format them and send them into the printer that I use on a constant basis. So this guy's like two birds, one stone, and he's friends with my lady. Him and his wife are friends with my lady and me. And there are times when we go to his house to have barbecue, and there's times when they come over to my house, you know, where I make pizza. So it's like one of those mutual feeding things, and it's like, okay, it just goes to comics now. It's like, okay, I hired you, and that's it. So
gotcha. That's cool.
So when Wilson feeds me, then yeah, I'll hire him as a letterer.
Gotcha. He can send you some bagels.
Yes. Oh my God, I love bagels. Holy shit. They have no bagels here. None.
I know.
No, you know what they have? They have like Cadbury bagels. You know, because Cadbury also does bread here too. So it's just like Cadbury co-op bagels. I'm like, ew.
I thought there would be bagels in fucking like Britain of all places.
There's no bagels in Britain. No, like there's one place that has bagels, but they're imported, so I don't give a fuck what they think.
I was thinking
you have to have some bagels. Roach
balls.
Yep.
What's that panel?
Rich.
Oh, a chat.
You're doing well, buddy.
What's up? Same thing that I do, but that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Well, yeah, that's right.
Hail chat.
Hail chat. Hail panel.
Ninja.
All right, Mark, you still never got around to it. So, all right. So,
I just answered the question. I said the goal is to make enough money pay for the second Kickstarter campaign.
All right, gotcha. All right, so ask your question, Mark.
All right, so I was watching the third season or second season of Picard, and I noticed that there is a lot of discrepancies with the new series and the original series. So my question for the panel is, how important is continuity in your work, and how far should the continuity stretch?
Carlos, you're up.
Wow.
Rich,
That's a
hold
more
on.
expanded universe thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Rich, hold on. It's Carlos's turn.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carlos.
Yeah, so that's a good question, and it's one that a lot of my buddies will get caught up on, and I'm not that way. I have my stuff is new. I try not to get caught up in building too much continuity because I want this to kind of unfold as I go along. I want people to lock into it and kind of go on this journey with me. I know a lot of folks that will get caught up in, they've been doing it. They've been preparing this for 15, 20 years or however long. And so they have this map in their head and then it's like, and then they'll post stuff on Facebook, and sometimes I'll tell them, it's like, man, you don't really need to post that stuff. It's like, let there be an air of mystery. Don't post how this character in 2 or 3 years is going to be at this point. It's like, that's what creating comics is about. It's like, you're not Marvel. A lot of these guys get it in their head that somehow, because they grew up on Marvel and DC, that their universes that they're creating have to be like Lord of the Rings kind of thing. It's like, let it evolve naturally. That way you're not stuck in a corner. If you get to a point where it's like, I really don't like the way this is going, it's easier to pivot. And but yeah, a lot of these guys are into their own continuity in their heads. It's like, I'm not like that. I sit down, write an issue, and then I kind of want to connect certain plot points to the next one and the next one, but I'm not someone that really likes to go too far ahead or say, man, this guy is going to turn out to do this. Because what if it gets to the point where, I've changed my mind. I don't want this guy going. I don't want this gal going there. So, yeah, I know a lot of people that get caught up in continuity for their independent creations when just let it breathe.
All right, cool. Mr. Randy?
Well, the problem, the question that stems from with this Picard series and a lot of modern media in general are written by committee by a group of people who barely know the property, who barely care about anything other than trying to get a message or a bit of propaganda across, or to tear down anything that has been creatively built up in the past, which I never thought was real until you really start looking into it. And then, especially at the larger companies right now, they're dedicated to destroying continuity, destroying any type of heroic characterization, and just telling or making whatever points they feel is necessary in order to make them look good on Twitter. Yeah. So you really have to be responsible for your own books. And I've got a variety of different properties that I like working on over the years. And it all depends upon the property as to how strict you want to keep to the continuity. The whole idea of doing this is to tell a great, entertaining story. And if you can tell an entertaining story that's interconnecting, that's even better. That's all part of the entertainment. But telling a great story should always come first. That's the important element there, and getting your reader not just to lose themselves, but to lose themselves and love it so that they come back and read your next one. And if that means you pay strict attention to continuity, that's great. I mean, Marvel and DC figured out that if they stuck to a continuity, that they sold more books. That doesn't necessarily hold true anymore with the alternative and independent market, because there's so many properties out there running around, so many people doing their own thing, that it probably doesn't matter much except to you how important that continuity stays or sticks or maintains. That's the way I feel about it.
Cool. Mr. Rich.
Randy said it perfectly all the way through. I have no follow-up to that. I had none, because the way that this is aside from being very fond of Randy, being very fond of Randy as a person and as a creator and everything, his longevity in this field, it's evident when what he just said summed up the feeling of just about every single independent publisher that you could possibly think of, because it's we keep our stories intact, and we don't want anybody messing with anything that we do, and it's or messing with anything that we grew up on that influenced us creatively. And you're right, Randy, there's a lot of people now who, when they get to being showrunners of the stuff that we love and enjoyed in our youth, it's like they have some sort of agenda. And I don't even think it's a personal, I mean, it may be it's part personal agenda, part catering to a perceived audience that, that's a very vocal minority.
Twitter fans
that wrecks it for the rest of everybody else. It's like, I mean, the latest version of Doctor Who with Jodie Whittaker. I mean, I'm not going to say anything negative about her. She's a fine actress, but Chris Chibnall, the showrunner, who is also the writer, gave us the most cartoonish version of Donald Trump, if that's at all possible. And every other line from every single Disney-ified, ethnic character or multi-ethnic character that's in there had like a good 2 or 3 minute speech about the injustices of the world and all that other stuff, all fighting Donald Trump, who is big in Sex and the City, who just got canceled for allegedly molesting women, where it's like chances are they're the ones that he didn't call back. So it's like, you have so much of that, and it just waters everything down, it dilutes it, and it poisons it. I think continuity is a very, very important thing to keep. And if you don't keep it, then you lose the essence of what the story became or started out as. And as I said it before, I'm only adding, maybe, if possible, to what Randy just said. It's just, I feel the same way that Randy does, and just like I'm sure everybody else here feels the same way as well. So,
well, to add to your recipe, I think there's also a big dash of a lack of creativity on the part of these creators.
Fuck yeah.
Personal
I mean, not every single action shot has to be like a Dutch angle, super fast. Go, 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 go. Oh my God, I'm James Kirk and I haven't reached puberty yet. Oh no. Just like stop. Enough already. Rich, did you okay. Hail again. Good question.
Oh, thank you.
Hail, Rich.
And this is what I wanted to get to. I try to keep somewhat consistent world building in my comic, but if I come up with a better idea for something, I'll make changes accordingly. I'm not token.
Might as well be. You've been doing this way longer than I have. A lot of us have.
The inspiration of Indy. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that trope too. Everybody's like all fucked up. We better go and fucking like have them go into therapy and shit. Like, please stop. Okay, I have no.
I know. Oh God, that's right. Wasn't there a DC book that had nothing but that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's
God.
They made Superman an injustice. It's like, oh, let's make him all fucking emo. It's like, please don't. Oh God. Like, it's harder to write for Superman that's like as Superman as good, because they think, oh, in order to write a good story, let's make him all emo with problems. It's like
that's because they can't figure out how to write him with how he is. That's the problem.
Amen.
I don't think
Yes.
I don't think half these people. I think half these people were told that they had problems that were kind of made up. Like, oh my god, you like weren't given like a peanut butter sandwich at lunchtime, so you're forever traumatized. And it's like, I mean, I get annoyed with that. It's like, okay, look, I understand like people now, like with diagnoses, they're getting better mental conditions, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, great. But now we're kind of gone to the other end where like everybody has fucking problems and you're never going to get any better. So don't ever face your trigger point. So you can't even get better. It's like, look, I go through life, I get triggered about shit, and then that makes me deal with my own personal shit, and that makes me actually a stronger person. And I'm all for therapy too. I'm not trying to say don't ever fucking have therapy if you haven't been genuinely fucked at some point. I get it, you know, but you can't live your life in a bubble. Like if a guy sends you a dick pic and you want to kill yourself, it's like, all right, you might have some issues with it, with like actual adjustment and dealing with things, you know. Not saying that the guy was any more right to send you that. It's just, come on, things are going to come at you. Like you got to deal with them. You got to learn how to deal with them and thrive. But I mean, for me, I mean, I guess at some point I was going to be asked that this, like, do I deal with continuity? Yes, I do. I think people don't really fucking understand the character sometimes. So they'll take the character and they'll make them do something that's really, really, really stupid or something that doesn't make sense. Like, let's pick a book. Okay. I try to read I Am Not Starfire. I really tried to like it because the artist is really awesome. I actually bought a jacket she designed at WonderCon. Okay. I am not finding any fault with the artist. Okay. But the writer, I have no idea where the fuck this daughter of Starfire really, like, I really tried reading it. I did try reading it. She was this chubby goth kid, I guess about 13, and she was sulky and angry. And I really tried to go and find some sort of relatable thing to her because when I was 13, I wasn't chunky or gothy, but you know, we all have our things. And I just could not connect with the character at all. And secondly, it was like Starfire's gone all the time and I hate her. And it's like, if you know the character of Starfire, okay, maybe she would be gone a lot doing superhero shit, but she would actually make an attempt to connect with her daughter, which they really didn't do in the book. Because she's supposed to be like, I'm lovable, I'm peaceful, we have this thing, and blah, blah, blah. And they had her not in the book at all. At least
the writer is short and fat and plumpy too, and dumpy just like the character is. So
yeah, they were clowning her because of that. I mean, that's
the truth. You know, that she put herself in the book. She's like, I have my issues, and I want to rebel against someone who's far prettier than I'll ever be in my life because I suck.
Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, look, we all put ourselves in it. Like Demon Bitch, like I put real life into that. Okay, Sepulchre, I put real life into that. But you got to do it in a way that people can relate to it. And if you can't, like, that's all about you pissing in the wind, really, and it hitting your face. Like, the thing is that the writer, I really tried to, I mean, I couldn't even, like, okay, I've read some things and not liked them, but I can understand where the writer was getting at, right? I could understand that. Or I've looked at some artwork, didn't like it, but I could see where the artist was. This one, I just couldn't fucking relate to it at all. And it's like, I am not Starfire. Okay, great. You're not Starfire. You're fucking chunky and you're dark and you're brooding. Great. You're not her, but you're fucking boring. Like, why it's like, I can't even, it's like this. This is why 13-year-olds are not heroines of a lot of books sometimes, because they don't fucking have any life experience. It's them whining about how they have a period and fucking pimples and, oh my God, this guy hit on me and he's like, and I don't know if he likes me or not. It's just, as I said, there's a lot of stories written like that. And I get it to a point because we've all been there on some level, but this was just presented in such a way that I just got turned off after 5 pages. I was like, I feel like I'm wasting brain cells reading this. And it made me sad because the artist fucking was awesome. I love her. Yoshio Shikani, check her work out. It's amazing. But even that couldn't get the book going on. And I felt bad. It was just, it made me sad. Like, seriously.
Which shows that art is always more important than writing. Good. Fuck writers.
No, not true. Fuck you, buddy.
True. Very true. Very true.
Where you from? Brooklyn?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm from Brooklyn too, so I can't really say anything. But I thought you were from the Bronx.
Staten Island. But yeah, I mean, but the
No,
thing
I
is,
moved. I got emigrated to Staten Island because that's where my parents wanted to be.
Oh, gotcha. See,
I would
now
never
know
have
where the
left.
problem
But
comes
I would have never have left
so,
Brooklyn
but, I mean,
if it wasn't for my fam. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, but the thing is that like with the new shows now, they're creating characters that are kind of antithesis of the actual characters that are that
Yeah,
they were
exactly.
before.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we expect
Yeah.
Picard to kind of get older, kind of get more mellower, maybe a little more fearful of his like his mortality creeping up him because he is older. But at the same time, sometimes when I watched of the show, I'm just like, God, I don't think that's really Picard. Because I used to love Next Gen a lot. I watched
Yeah.
Next Gen religiously as a kid. And then even though like I'm taking it into it as an adult, when I tried watching, I'm like, okay, all right. You know, like they have to make everything dark and emo, and I'm all about dark and emo, but there's to a point where, like it gets kind of excessive. It's like, all right, that's nice.
Yeah, the Federation really got like really dark and moody and depressing in the span of like a blip. Really, I mean, it's like not even 20 years, and then everything is absolute shit in the Federation. I mean, it's like that's pretty quick.
I totally blame Chris Pine for that.
Actually, I gotta say that when he was in the movies of Star Trek, I gotta say that he did do a little bit of Shatner, but not quite. He kind of made it. So I gave him that. But yeah, I love Star Trek. I like it more than Star Wars. I know some of the nerds might go like, oh my God, what the hell? I'm like, whatever, fuck you.
Fuck Star Wars.
I think it goes back to that boiling pot that Rich was talking about earlier, that formula that most modern media is contained with just dry, unimaginative people putting themselves into different situations and trying to get political points across or virtue signal to their buddies on Twitter.
Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy is the worst thing that ever happened to
story.
anything. You know, Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, she was what was she like like Steven Spielberg's assistant for like most of her life, and then all of a sudden somehow she bladed her way to be the head of Disney Creative. I mean, like you got to be kidding.
She's
horrible.
Fantastic. She was fantastic in Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, I thought she was fantastic. Yeah,
she's in the opening scene.
She is. What does she do?
Dance.
Yeah,
that's it.
In a skimpy costume.
That's it.
Yeah.
Are you being serious that she was in that?
Huh?
Are you being serious that she was actually in that?
Yeah, the one with Short Round in it. That was
Doom,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, with the
opening
dances.
scene when they're in the nightclub and all.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Was that what she was attractive? Now that she's ugly and old and everything.
I didn't say she was attractive. I just said she was good.
Wow.
So,
wasn't she also a producer?
Yeah.
She might have been an executive producer at that point.
Oh, please, who cares? This is a person who has
which meant coffee fetcher and bottle washer. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you with I don't even want to talk because there's like so much her that I hate.
Next time you watch Temple of Doom, watch that opening number. One of the girls.
Well, I can't watch it now.
There's Kathleen Kennedy. Holy crap!
I will never watch it again now that Kathleen Kennedy is there. I saw it once, good enough for me. That's it. It's like watching a Fast and Furious movie. You just can't watch it again after you see it because it's the same shit all over again. It's just it's like.
All right, let's go through some of the panels. But I really needed that peanut butter sandwich.
I hate
Superman
and Justice was interesting. The not the cartoon movie, not the animated movie. The animated movie, they butchered that like crazy.
Probably. As for Superman,
they did.
Yes, he should. But in the end, he is fucking Superman. God, Superman is boring. Daniel says he was just kidding.
Oh, there you
go. Okay, thank you. I concur. Yeah, they butchered it like crazy, man. They really did. And the I don't know why they changed the animation house. The animation house for DC animated movies was fantastic before. It made no sense to me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Daphne's like, it's like instead of looking at heroes as inspirational icons, these people want to drag these characters down to their level so that there's no pleasure to imagine anything better for themselves.
Amen. Well, it's because they can't. They can't. You know that you see those are the types that wanted to be the super creative part of everything, and they realized that they suck at it. So they decided to weasel their way in a different way to get to that top position And then when they get there, they throw their little bullshit out, and then they realize that it sucks, but they'll never admit it. You know, Chris Chibnall was the worst thing that ever happened to Doctor Who. I mean, I think they have Russell Davies coming back there.
Russell Davies, yeah.
Yeah, Russell Davies is going to come back, and he's been given carte blanche because, you know, the BBC realized, wow, Chris Chibnall, you really suck, but you had a 3-year contract. Thank you. You can go. Take your girlie with you. Now we're going to have Doctor Who again, hopefully.
I wonder who's going to be the new one.
They turned to Davies and said, please stay, bud.
No, I mean,
well, yeah,
and you can throw whatever money Sony has come in and bought into Doctor Who now, so the effects are going to go, and the budget's going to go way up.
Yeah.
Who's going to play the actual Doctor? I'm kind of wondering who, because they make it a big mystery until the reveal.
Well,
there's a couple of choices.
It's
one of them that I would
always
want.
talk about over in England about.
Oh yeah, they do. There's been speculation that Richard Ayoade from the It crowd.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. He'd be great. He'd be awesome at it. One thing that I'm trying to start up in, and I don't know if any of you watch the show What We Do in the Shadows. Oh yes, but I'm hoping that I want to start a petition that Matt Berry becomes Doctor Who.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that video clip of him as Doctor Who?
Yes. Oh my God, that was so funny. So it's like, oh fuck! Now I have to destroy them too.
I agree with Christine. I had a quick overview. Dan Aykroyd was in Temple of Doom.
Damn, when?
Was he?
Where?
He was in the same scene, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, he was. I know he was in one of them. Dan Aykroyd had like a quick cameo.
Kathleen Kennedy is the pinnacle of a bean counter, thinking she's creative just because she shared space with Lucas. Non-creatives in comics are like thinking you're an interior designer because you know how to shop at IKEA.
Yes, right.
Yeah. I think the big issue. I think the big issue with a lot of these people is that they want to be creative, they want to do something. What they really want to do is they want to be important, and the easiest way to do that is by being creative. Because becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, becoming a politician, all that shit is hard and requires a lot of work and a lot of dedication. But anybody can do a fucking comic. Anybody can write a fucking story. So there it is. And they just
wait, what?
Without any work, and right?
See, the thing is, like, I was talking with a writer, and he was saying to me, some people are so stupid enough to go for fame. They're not there for a legacy. They're there for fame. So they sell out their talent or whatever they have to be fame, to have fame. The problem, there's a lot of broke famous people that signed a contract in a hurry, number one. And number two, what's annoying is that they think if they write things to satisfy their little Twitter crowd, that they're going to go and have approval. But the problem is approval doesn't buy things. So a lot of these people are getting let go because the sales are tanking, because they're shitty. I mean, like, the thing is, and what I don't like about some of that crowd is they'll do actual things that they accuse other people of doing. For example, okay, Iceman came out as gay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, fine, right? But how Jean Grey outed him was she went in his head, came out and said, oh, by the way, you're gay. And he says, I guess you're right.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I'm kind of like going, how fucked up is that? Because I know a lot of gay men, that's not what you do. You let that person come out when they want to. You out them is really fucked up. And they're going like, that crowd goes like, well, you know, that's okay because there's gay representation. Said that's the most fucked up version of gay representation.
But Jean Grey made him gay.
I don't know.
She must be a horrible lay then, man.
No, she jumped into his head and changed his brain chemistry, come out and says, hey, you're gay. And he went, oh, I guess I am.
Wait, what? That's not a thing.
Serious how they did that? That is fucked up. I mean,
what a cunt. There's a lot of homosexual representation that hated that. They really.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Christie is right. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, not only that, just taking a commonly straight character who's been straight for 40-something years
and chased after girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not made him gay. Yeah. That's so weird.
Creating a character who is gay, like Batwoman.
She screwed up his life.
Straight up.
Yeah.
There was only one gay character that I know of that was done the right way. That was North Star from Alpha Flight.
Yeah.
Because throughout all of North Star's continuity when John Byrne was writing and drawing. You know, it was a little bit ambivalent or like inconclusive. You know, with a Jean-Paul Barbier. Yeah, that was his name.
Yeah.
Jean-Paul Barbier was gay or not? Because I mean, he was a professional skier. He had women fawning over him, but you never really saw him going after women.
Yeah.
But I was working at Marvel when they had that landmark issue when it's like he's fighting some guy, and I forgot what the story was about. But then he's like going after him. He's like, I am gay, and just because I'm gay, it doesn't make me less of a superhero. And there was no huge. What was great about it was that it was like it was treated like it was normal. Not like it's like, look, the first gay issue of Alpha Flight. You know, it wasn't. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like North Star comes out.
This is now the gayest issue of Alpha Flight ever. Buy this.
Yes. Ooh, it was amazing. You know, and it was just. It's like okay, he's gay, and that's it. You know, and they didn't really mention anything about it until he got married in the pages of X-Men a few years later, and that's what was great about it.
And then what insults me on a certain level, I'm not gay, but it insults me on a certain level, is that they said, okay, they got married. Now we're going to shell them. We're not really going to talk about them anymore. I'm like, wow, fuck
That's
you.
That's right. I didn't see anything of them afterwards.
Yeah, they lived happily ever after.
You know, it's like, I mean,
in gay X-Men land.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's put them on an island because that's where they should be, apparently, according to.
Yeah, shove the gay X-Men on an island, and that's it. You know, there you go.
I mean,
all of the mutants are exiled now to Krakatoa or whatever. So
Karaoke Island.
Karaoke Island. Yeah.
Croatia, whatever.
Croatia. Cracker.
All right,
Cracker Island.
Let's get back to the question.
All them crackers all.
Well, hey, that's where you're at. Michael,
you're right.
Michael.
Okay. Wait, what was it? I'm sorry, what'd you ask?
The question
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Here's the deal.
Continuity. How important is continuity?
Because I think we kind of went over. It's kind of a broad subject because you talk about continuity of character, continuity of story, so on and so forth. Now, as far as you're concerned, talking about Picard and simply about that, when you're going to have something that spins off of a larger group and has such a huge fan base, there needs to be some continuity there. I'm not talking about, well, Picard used to drink only white wine and now he drinks red wine or whatever the case is. But there needs to be a continuity where those things that happen in the next generation still have their effects on him in this world at this time.
But it's two different universes because Spock screwed the timeline.
Oh, are we doing that crap?
Why not?
I don't know.
Why not?
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched
well,
it.
I'm just saying, in general, any characters like
Picard, so what
if Batman acts a certain way in one. Well, look at the thing about back in the old days for the Spider-Man comic book. There was like 4 or 5 different Spider-Man comic books, and sometimes he was not acting the same way in each one of those Spider-Man comic books.
That's
the
true.
Same thing. How important is continuity? And if is how far back should it go? Like, is there like a 10-year limit? All right, 10 years ago, we got a new audience. Let's just make something different. Or should it be, from day one, keep it going?
I worked at Marvel when they had like 1,000 Spider-Man titles, and not one of those writers talked to each other, and the editors were worthless over there. Wilson will attest to it.
But at that point in time, was continuity even really considered a thing that it needed to happen?
Well, I think there was like 1,000 clone Spider-Man books too.
Well,
so it's like
instead of a continuity as far as character, how about within the pages of Spider-Man, within the pages of the Amazing Spider-Man, within the pages of Spectacular Spider-Man? Was the continuity there for those timelines?
Okay, so is that important? So if it's in one straight line of one, if it's just Amazing Spider-Man acts the same way, but then we get a new writing team, then all of a sudden she changes in the same Amazing Spider-Man, that's no longer continuity, or does it matter? I think it was Denny O'Neil maybe, or maybe Alan Moore said that they should just have like the base bones of the character and just write the story of the Batman character. Like, doesn't matter that Batman should just have a really good story in the comic of itself, and it shouldn't worry about all the years and years of Batman stuff as long as it's a good Batman story.
Yeah, but doesn't the base bones therefore dictate a continuity?
Well, that's my question. So what do you think it is?
then that's important. That's what I'm saying. But
Well, that sounds limiting too, because it's like there's no evolution of the character.
Right.
I mean, am I wrong on that one? I mean, if it's just like the base bones and just keep writing a good story, I mean, is there any evolution on the character based on these stories?
Well, if Batman's no longer a good detective, then he's not Batman, right?
Well, I think what it is it's on the Charlie Brown premise, right? Charlie Brown never changes. And I think that's what these companies basically want from these characters. They just want Charlie Brown. They just want him to be immortal. They go on forever. The rest of us move on. Those characters sit around,
Well,
There was a thing on the Honeymooners that I used to watch Honeymooners as a kid religiously. And certain episodes, they had certain things happen in the 22 minutes that was never referenced to again ever. Where it's like, hey, what happened to that? So even back then, on the Honeymooners, they kind of just wanted to keep the status quo. And a lot of sitcoms do that. Like they try to keep the status quo. Everybody's just like the bare bones. And they keep the jokes going. Married with Children is another thing, that certain things happen in Married with Children that are just like, we're going to forget about it. We're back to normal the next week. Or should there be the progression where you have to pay attention? 30 years ago, Patrick Stewart broke his toe and he limps. So in 40 years from now, should he still have that limp? That's what I'm saying. Like if they say, okay, this is something back then, should they care about it? Or should it be like it's a new crowd, new people? Look at look at all the different Batman movies. There's not even a continuity between that.
Well, I think also
you're talking 4 different worlds again.
But there is a continuity between, barely. But there is a continuity between the Nolan Batman films. There is a continuity between.
Yes, there is. There is. Yeah.
I think what it is that
it's within the story and the world that you've already created.
So then, how far does it reach? So in that Picard itself.
Creative team. As long as it's in that creative team, we'll say that. If that's, if we want to break it down to that point.
Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just thinking, like, okay, so every time you do a comic book or a comic series on an established character, like Batman, let's say, there's certain elements you have to have for Batman to be believed as Batman.
Right.
If you think all happy and shit, well, that's not really Batman, is it? Right.
Right.
So it has to be brooding, dark, overthinking, detective, has to battle his demons and traumas. You have to have some element of that. Now there's different ones, like you had Nolan's Batman, but he took a certain take along that trope. You had Tim Burton, who took a different take, but the same trope, in that level, like he just went at it a slightly different way. And I'm trying to remember the one that did like now that was goofy, but it was kind of fun.
Adam West, 66 Batman.
No, not to Adam West.
No, you're thinking Joel Schumacher with Two-Face and Mr. Freeze. Yeah.
I mean, it was basically, it still was Batman, but it was still like kind of jokey and stuff, but at the same time it was cheesy, but it was still Batman. Like there's been different takes on Batman, but I think if you keep like the same integral character down, Adam West didn't go too much on the trauma, but it went on the overthinking and detective work because it's Detective Comics, DC, right? Yeah. That's what Batman is. But then you had Frank Miller's Dark Knight, where he's like older, like in his 60s or some shit. And it's like he sees Gotham like even get shittier and shittier if that's possible. And then all these like other things. But that's the thing. It's like you take the character that is pre-existing, you understand the tropes of that character or the elements of that character, and you go with it on a logical timeline of what they would be like, or that logical thought pattern. And that goes back to my initial complaint, because a lot of some of the newer people don't fucking have that. They just say, "Oh, I'll just go remake it in my own image." It's like, that's nice, but you have to keep the character consistent.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
not in their mind. Not in their mind.
If you're going, but I mean, Batman goes through time. He can get older or younger, or stay virtually the same. But then when you look at something like, for example, Love and Rockets, like Jamie and Jaime Hernandez, he aged the characters in real time. Like I remember talking to that guy, like when I got the newest book signed, and it sort of was more real to me, because when I read them, I was the same age as Hopi and Maggie in their 20s, right? So college, and then later you're like, oh fuck, we got older, But there's that element that you relate to, but that's aging the characters in real time. And that's what we have. It's like a sort of a different level of things. Like, and they changed their characters all over the place. Like when they were the girl mechanics or something all over. So that was almost sci-fi, cartoony, pinup girl, to like real life East LA punk, Oxnard punk, whatever. So it's like they were able to take the Hernandez brothers, Jaime at least, and again, I followed Palomar too for a while too, but like with the Hernandez brothers for Love and Rockets, it kind of like went all over the place, but it somehow made sense at the end. Like they kind of played with it. So it's kind of like these are the two different tropes that you have to deal with that are still in line with those characters, but still kind of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, take, for instance, Tank Girl. Okay? If you took Tank Girl and you made her a sweet, playful, kind to animals and everything else like that, it's not the same Tank Girl. But Tank Girl, you took Tank Girl and you could put her in a war setting, you could put her in a medieval setting, you could put her in all this. As long as she's consistently her, then that's when continuity matters as far as that's concerned. And again, that's continuity of character versus continuity of story versus continuity of universe. I do not expect in continuity of a comic book to be the same continuity as a movie universe. But if we're in this movie universe and you're going to keep calling back to other movies, you better have some continuity there.
Yeah, like
otherwise the story breaks apart.
That's why I thought that was a big failing Aliens, because they fucked off. That includes Alien versus Predator. They fucked off from the comics entirely. Completely different way. And I said, what the fuck did you do? Jerk off all over this thing and take a shit on this and dump it down the toilet bowl? Like what the fuck did you do? You were lazy. Like you.
That was Alien 3.
Yeah, Alien 3. Like they killed
that was Alien Resurrection
guy. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like you're supposed to go grow up and fucking fight the aliens and all this shit. What the fuck is this? You guys are assholes. Like you guys could have been fucking lazy and took the storyboards from the fucking comic itself. That was my rant.
That's exactly how I felt after I watched Alien 3. Exactly.
I think Alien 4 was
what the
kind of an
fuck did you guys just do?
Yeah. Like Alien 4, I think I viewed it as sort of an apology because like they try to make it right, kind of. They tried to make it right. I mean, it was still shit, but at least it was better shit than Alien 3, where they just totally took it and just shoved a broom pole up its ass. I know. That's how I felt what they did. Like Alien was fucking awesome. Aliens 2 is badass, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
All sorts of different reasons. Yeah.
Mishmash of like broom fucking stick fuck up that I didn't understand, and I didn't even know watching it. And then the fourth was like, okay, this is a bit better. It's still kind of. It's not the greatest, like, as I would have liked the original story, but hey, at least they kind of had Ripley kind of merge with the Alien Queen. She was still really fucking twice as badass, so I was okay with that. But then they came out with the Covenant and all that. I'm like, oh fuck you, I'm done.
Right.
I'm tired.
Let's not even talk about Prometheus. All right, hold on. Let's go to the chat.
Oh, Prometheus, that's a whole
that's
a whole different story.
Yes. Yeah. He is right before they get on the plane.
That was Dan Aykroyd.
Can't do either. So you'll have my admiration. Poor writing, Iceman.
Iceman.
That was a Freudian slip if ever there was one.
Sorry about that. I know I remember people bitching about that comic that people don't just scream in the middle of a fight they're gay. It's just that Twitter didn't exist back then.
I'm gay.
In the gala, they overdid it on Iceman. Not Assman. Sorry.
Character called Assman, but he wasn't a Marvel character.
No. Here you go, Rich. I disagree. Marvel had a continuity editor during that time.
That was Rich, right?
That's probably Rich. Yeah, that's why he's fucking it up.
That's me.
Daffy says that's assuming they're making so many Spider-Man comics because they're that interested in story, not because they're purposefully creating product that takes space on comic store shelves.
Bingo.
Oh no, that's exactly what they did. They wanted to they capitalized on Spider-Man and X-Men too, also because it's like X-Men, X-Force, Ultimate X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Force, X-Nation,
all new X-Men.
X marks the spot. I mean, whatever the fuck was there, man. Honestly,
X-Factor, Extinct, all sorts.
Yes, Extinction Agenda, X-Factor, Extermination, blah blah blah. The X-rated. I don't know what the fuck.
They were out to claim anything that started with X.
Yeah, I know.
10 Batman comics to push out competition in the stores, not because they have to tell 10 Batman stories.
That's true. That's very true. Also, Tim Burton's Hershey nip. That wasn't Tim Burton. That was Joel Schumacher's nips.
Yeah, that was Joel Schumacher.
Gotta play the endings out.
Yeah, good luck on that one. I do agree on that. They wanted to take him as much shelf space as possible. Yeah, of course they did.
Yep.
Well, but
The two things before we get off of continuity, the two things that I want to point out is that if you look at those Batman films in order, you see that every time the director stayed on Batman, the following movie became a caricature of the previous film.
Yeah.
And if you watch Nolan's 3 Batman movies, it goes from great to okay to parody. Especially with Christian Bale deepening his voice and trying to sound mean and nasty.
He had to sound like this.
Exactly. And the second point is the reason there was
was actually
continuity
really
at
good,
Marvel and DC.
Thank you.
The reason there was continuity at Marvel and DC, especially in the 60s and 70s, is because they found out it sold comics. When they made a little editorial note referring back to another issue, suddenly everybody wanted to go back and read that issue.
Those were the best. I look forward to that shit. That's why I was like, oh, I got to pick up this issue now. That's
they would
awesome.
get letters from fans. That's why Stan started the no prize. It's like, okay, you caught us in a continuity glitch. So the fuck what? Here's a no prize. You know? But if you go back and look at comics history, especially with the Avengers as a prime example, they bring Captain America in on number 4. And then by, I think it's number 14 or 16, they got so many letters from so many people going, how come Iron Man's in Avengers when he's in a 2-part story over here in his book, and Thor's in a 2-part story over here, and nothing's making sense? That they stopped the Avengers. They peeled off all of the main characters except for Captain America, whose stories at the time were in tales of suspense and were taking place back during World War II. And they added 3 more outside characters into the Avengers just to fill the team of characters that they had gotten fan letters on, and that's Wanda, Pietro, and Hawkeye. In order to shut the fans up, so that they could have a book that somebody wouldn't be complaining all the time about continuity errors.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's literally a 2-edged sword.
Well, Marvel is now,
but it raises nitpickers, who are out there studying every panel, every fold, everything.
Well, that not only that, it also bites them because now people can't really get into comics because they're looking for number 1 just so they can get the whole story. So when you keep having to keep going back, now it's like, well, why even bother? Because now I have to go back and go get this one, and then I have to go back and get this one.
That's not too hard to do anymore because there's so many number 1s that are coming out every
they keep rebooting the universes every 2 years. It's kind of bullshit.
On books, they can't keep they can't keep the sales up enough on the stands unless they do it.
Yeah, but they don't want that either. They don't want that either because then you have that thing, and then they'll throw in something from in the past in the new book. And then you'd have to know what that was about.
Just think of where these mainstream companies would be if they actually hired experienced professionals like us that have been in the alternative and independent market for decades. It's like, well, all of us are sitting here going, we can show you how to run a damn comic book company, you idiots. Just hire me.
Yeah, we wouldn't work so well with them because we actually care about the continuity of the characters.
Well, anymore,
it goes back to what you said.
Anymore, you might be able to get away with that because they don't care about the printing end of it. It's making them too little money for them to. Well,
Randy, it goes back to what you said before. It's they have these new creators or showrunners have their own agendas.
Yeah,
and they don't give a shit about the continuity of anything that we grew up with because they really didn't grow up with it. They just liked the flashy things and they wanted to be part of something creative, and they couldn't because they sucked. So they decided to get in a different way entirely, and then put whatever little ideas they had in there. Or purposely ruin whatever property that they were told that they could not get into. I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Chibnall or Kathleen Kennedy had some sort of agenda because they both knew they both sucked. And they're like, well, if I can't be in there, no one can. And they just purposely ruined it. I mean, the last 3 Star Wars movies were absolute dog shit dreck. And the last 3 seasons of Doctor Who was something I will never watch because I don't feel like throwing up every day. It's like, it's the truth though. It's like people have agendas nowadays instead of focusing on what the characters are supposed to be.
Well, if it's any consolation, Pluto has a Doctor Who channel where they play all the early ones from Hartnell up to McCoy.
Oh God, I saw one of the first Doctor Who's, and I was. What was I, like 6? But this was when I was living in New York, and it was like Channel 13, PBS. And like after 11 o'clock, they had British television on, and they had like an old episode of Doctor Who. And I think there was one episode where they had the slingshot around a planet, and on the screen, on the screen computer monitor in the old TARDIS or something like that, it was this paper mache rock that they just put on a string and they spun it really quickly. And I'm like, wow, this is cutting edge special effects if I've ever fucking seen it.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Whatever the budget could afford, baby.
Oh, I know. It's like it's spitting vinegar. Let's make it a planet.
Yeah.
The Daleks were actually like, they freaked me out as a kid just because they would say exterminate, but they would act like really crazy. Like they'd have that voice, exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. You're like, Jesus.
Oh my God! Even here, I laugh at it because like so many people that I've met over here, they're like, when we were children, we would hang out, we would hide behind the couch when we would see the Daleks come out, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
No, but it wasn't.
These are sentient garbage cans with disco balls with a plunger and a whisk. And I'm like,
the thing is that, Rich, you have to,
I'm like, are you kidding?
The thing is,
I'm like, what the fuck?
It was like the voices. The voices were kind of gnarly. It was like, who's this crazy?
Well, yeah, maybe that they were shrill, but it's just like, all right, I need an egg beaten. Or I have a clog in my plunger. Yeah. Or can I have one of your disco balls so I can have some fun and disco fever tonight? You know, it's just like.
But can you imagine
the only time they got scared? The only time they got scary is when but there was one like in the new series when it's like elevate and they started fucking hovering. I'm like, oh shit, now we're fucked.
Oh right.
Now they finally explained how they get upstairs. Holy crap! Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you could beat the Daleks if you like go up a flight of stairs. You're like, haha.
Can you imagine the fun though in the effects room the first time they created him? What the hell is? Well, this is that Dalek that's in the show. Well, make it more dangerous. Put a whisk and a plunger
on it. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. All right, look, let me wrap this question up so we can move on to the next one. All right. So as far as myself, I don't really care about Picard and what they do over Star Trek. Fuck them. I don't.
Well, no, but you have your own long
no. When
running
it comes
story.
out to my own work, right? My own work is different, though. Is that yes, I have a structure and I know pretty much what I'm doing. Let's say the Oswald Chronicles, I already finished it, so that's done. Basically, it's just a matter of just tying all the continuity together. So that's basically what the process I'm in. That's part of the editing process for me. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Tall Tales. I know the markers I need to hit for the next story arc. You know, as long as I hit those markers, I'm good. But there's room to change and there's room to make adjustments as I go. So that's something that. And as far as like starting points in comics, what I would always advise people is don't worry about number one. Worry about the creator. If you're gonna read something, read Daredevil by Frank Miller. Or Ed Brubaker, read Ed Brubaker's Captain America. Don't fucking worry about where the first issue's at. Just fucking worry about the creators. Because if you worry about the number one, you're probably going to get a shitty writer anyway. So just worry about the good guys. Worry about Walter Simonson. You know, worry about John Byrne. Worry about Chris Claremont on some of his early stuff on X-Men. Don't worry about number one because you're just going to drive yourself nuts with that. Just look for the good creators. Look for Grant Morrison on Justice League. You know, Doom Patrol, that sort of thing, and just move it on. Don't even worry about number one. You just drive yourself nuts. Mr. Lanning, you're up. What's your question?
All right. My question is, let me see. I have it written. I don't like the way I have it written, but I'm going to read it this way. Is it feasible to begin allowing ad space in independent comics? As in your independent comic, is it feasible? But no way. Well, you got to wait your turn there. Because and I'm not talking about necessarily ads as in for IKEA and all that. I'm talking about for other independent comics, for other people's independent property.
I've done that.
That's fair. Well, Randy's up. Go ahead, Randy. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to trade an ad, trade an ad. You know, all you're doing is helping each other out. That's all.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and other than that, if you're gonna get a little, and you're probably talking about swapping ads, just one for one. But if you can make a little jing and help subsidize your print costs or your overhead with an ad, with one or two ads, that's great. But don't become Marvel in the 80s, where every other page was a freaking ad.
Oh, I remember.
You had 17 pages out of a 32-page book that might actually have comic story on it. Don't do that.
Hey, guys, it's 2 a.m. here in the UK.
Okay,
he's falling asleep. We put Rich.
You use up all your energy.
I
Yeah.
did. Well, I had no energy to begin with. I was just running on spit and vinegar and
that
really
hatred for
bad
Doctor Who.
tea.
Tickles you.
Mm.
JD, thank you for having me here, man. JD, I hope you invite me over again, despite how I am.
Rich, it was good seeing you alive and well.
I am. Thank you
Same.
for saying that, JD. Guys, thank you so much.
No,
Take
it was
care.
awesome. Well,
I
I'll
need
set
to
up
get
a
to
one-on-one.
so we can see you dancing pasties.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to do the pasties thing. I swear to God, I will.
yeah. We'll do a one-on-one at some point. I'll make sure to schedule it so it's not 2 a.m. for you. All right.
Thank you, sir. I will talk to you guys later.
All right. Take it easy, man.
All right,
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya. He
And
spent
then-
all of his energy ranting about Doctor Who. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's what I was
Exactly,
saying.
yeah.
It's a chick
Exactly.
Doctor Who guy.
Really get excited.
Doctor Who took it all out of him.
It did.
Took it all out of him. So, Christy, how do you feel about the question? Do you think we should be swapping ads or putting ads in Indy Comics?
You know,
It is
I don't think ad space in itself is bad, but personally, I think it's like 1 or 2 is fine. But honestly, I don't think we should have it dominate any more than maybe 1% of the book. Personally, I think it's good to have like a spread to promote the other comics in your company or in your world or whatever. But other than that, put it at the back of the book, just so people don't leaf through this bullshit or whatever. And besides, in X amount of years, it'll be obsolete anyway. So you paid all for that for fucking nothing. So there's that. So for me, I would say like maybe a couple pages. I don't think it's terrible. But yeah, I remember in the 80s when reading all the old Marvel shit and like, what the fuck is all this bullshit?
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm. True. Carlos?
I've done it. So, but you also have to be careful with it, because if you have post offices that want to be assholes, if they see an ad, if they check and they see an ad in your book, there goes your media mail price. So, and so that's why when they always say what's in here, I say it's a self-help manual. And then okay, cool. Because when I said the first few times it's a comic book, they're like, oh, does it have ads in it? If it has ads, you can't get the media mail price.
There's that too.
And I'm like, crap. So I ended up paying $6 or $7 to mail something off that I charged them $3 for. So
what you could have done was come back a different day and be like, yes, this is something that is not a comic book. 100% not a comic book.
Not a comic book. But yeah, as far as putting Friends' book ads in, I do it all the time in my books. Typically at the very end. I'll put a page in there at the very end and help them out.
Nice. All right, cool. Hold on, Mr. Says Dark Knight. Dark Knight of Steel put a whole new spin relationship between Bruce Wayne and Kal-El. There have always been agendas, but there's your agenda being in your media, then there's your media is your propaganda for your agenda. Huge difference. Somebody got the thinking question. And that's why manga is beating Marvel DC's ass, because you just start with volume 1 with whatever series you want to read. True enough. All right. Hell yeah, cross promote is life in this industry. Yes, I think it's great to do an ad trade or sell the space if you can. I've done it, and it's worked well. I was able to pay for a small print run for my ads. But don't overkill it. Chango says okay. All right. So, Mark, how do you feel about it? Ads or no ads?
I think at least when Indy started, you would expect it to not have ads, kind of like when cable started, you expect it to not have ads because you're paying a premium for the same thing that you would get. But now I think it's all different. Like, you can get an ad in there. It's fine. Just don't go crazy with ads. And it also might help if the ad had something to do with the product that you're reading, or at least geared towards your audience. So if you have an ad for, I don't know, Macy's in your book, maybe not. But if you had an ad for like a printing company or an independent distributor or even a comic book store, that might be a better way to go.
All right. Well, I feel personally. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry.
No, go for it, Chrissy.
Well, I was just thinking, like, when it was talking about the post office and stuff, I just say that's why I always do graphic novels. It's less of a time crunch for me, and it makes me more relaxed on the story, and I don't need to put ads. Because it's weird, because like media mail is like, don't do comic books, but do graphic novels. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So that's how I get away with it. But yeah.
So everything I do is a graphic novel, even if it was a 24-page staple book.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I feel it's fine to put in ads, especially if you're just swapping with your friends. I think that's really cool. If it's a paid ad, I mean, listen, I'd love to have an ad from IKEA on the back of my book. I mean, that's at least $1,500 right there.
That pays for your shipping.
Exactly, that pays for everything. You know, so yeah. So Mark, answer your own question, sir.
I just did answer my own question.
He meant me.
He just did.
Michael, sorry about that, Michael. Sorry.
As far as independent comics is concerned, I think it's healthy to have that ad space for other independent comics. Yes, of course, I would not put it in the middle of the book, unless you are able to have a point in your book that has a
chapter break
in it, like a suspense. Yeah, like a suspense, like something happens. Oh, here's an ad, and then you got to cut back on the other side. But chances are they probably won't pay attention to the ad, so it's probably best in the back of the book anyway. But I think it helps. It helps not only you, especially I've seen it on Kickstarter where people have used that as a tier, so that also helps in funding your book. So I think it's beneficial. I mean, they've been doing it. That's what funded comics years and years ago. They just went overboard.
Cool. All right. So here we go. Here's a light one for everybody. What's the work that you go back to time and time again to recharge your batteries? So like what's the thing you go back to every now and again? You rewatch or reread or whatever to recharge your batteries. Christy, you're up.
Oh, yeah, you saw my fucking asshole grin. Yeah, I just do bitch because most people are doing stupid fucking shit in front of me. So I'm like, all right, fine, I'm gonna go draw it right now. Like, fuck you all. Like, I mean, it's funny because like when I watch things happen, like in human nature, women, men, whatever, it's always fun to draw because you just notice the stupid thing that you've seen in your life and you have to draw it or call it out. So when people like get on my ass, and it's hilarious because I don't know if this makes me sound more arrogant, probably does, but I don't give a shit. But anyway, so what happens is like if somebody that I know pisses me off, I'll like talk about it, I'll think about it, I'll analyze it. And what people used to do to me is like, oh, you should let it go. You should not do this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and after a while, I realized this, like the same people that would tell me to do that, but yet be pissed off eternally at this one, two people that they had in their life, but they're telling me to get over mine. And it's like, why the fuck are you giving me advice that makes you fucking miserable? I don't get that. All right, well, fuck that. So what I do is I just like ignore them and I do it anyway. And guess what? I come out with a funny comic and they think I'm great. It's like sometimes you kind of have to ignore what other people say and do in the guise of being a better person, because it really doesn't. It makes you a more miserable person. But I mean, if you notice when in my comics, I don't say anybody's name. I don't. I make caricatures, you know. But like the person that is involved, they know it's them. But at the same time, I'm not going and saying their name. It's like, hey, have an opportunity to change, motherfucker, please. But, you know, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, I go back to Demon Bitch because that's my therapy, you know. But it just, I have certain limits or certain parameters. Like for me, I just don't make fun of people just to make fun of people. You know, it's like somebody has to really egregiously make me that angry to do it. And even then, when I'm mad at somebody, I don't do it. It has to be egregious. Like I've already walked away from the situation several times and they still continue to be an idiot. And it's like, all right, fine, fuck you. The gloves are off, you know? So that's pretty much it. So I go to Demon Bitch. It's my therapy.
Nice. Carlos, what do you got?
I go back to Justice League, Giffen, and J.M. DeMatteis and Kevin Maguire. So that's something I always go back, and you've heard this 100 times, and in the times I've been doing this show. I also go back to Walt Simonson's Thor run. So the Justice League, Walt Simonson's Thor, and I also do X-Men because when I got back into comics, I started reading when I was a wee lad in 1975, and with the Hulk and the Monster, the Marvel Monster books. And then I moved from California to New Orleans, and the movers stole my stash.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah,
That sucks.
so yeah, it kind of bummed me out enough to where I was like, I got out of comics for about 4 years, and I did trading cards and stuff. And then in '82, we moved from Michigan to from essentially Detroit, Mount Clemens. It's not too far, about 45 minutes outside of Detroit. I moved from Mount Clemens to Washington State, and on the way there, my brother bought some comics, and then he tossed them over to me, and it kind of ding ding ding, that light kind of went off on me again. And so when I got to Washington State, my grandmother had given me $5. Of course, back then I went nuts. I bought probably, because they were only 60 cents, so I bought $5 worth. And the X-Men 167 I bought, and of course Chris Claremont and Paul Smith.
Mhm.
I go back to that because that was kind of like my reintroduction to comics. And so I go back to the Chris Claremont and Paul Smith run, which to this day is just one of the most fantastic runs of that book, before John Romita Jr. took over. And at that time, I absolutely detested his artwork. Of course, I became a much bigger fan of JR later during his Daredevil run, which I worship.
Yeah.
But when he took over X-Men after Paul Smith, I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's kind of the same jarring as I also picked up New Mutants with issue #1. Paul
Mhm.
McLeod artwork. He was a traditionalist. And then come around, what was it, issue 18? This Bill Sienkiewicz. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I got so pissed off. I was like, what the living fuck is this? And I gave it to my brother, and I was like, you can have this shit. I was like so pissed at that Demon Bear bullshit. It was just such a stark change from Bob McLeod to Bill Sienkiewicz. But I was, especially then, the 14, 15-year-old me, I didn't like change like that. Not that stark a change. But I go back to the Chris Claremont stuff, to Frank Miller's Daredevil run. Those are all the classic things. And when I need a recharge or I dig back in, and I always catch stuff, and it always sets me in the right path. Movie wise, the Marvel movies, especially the ones that were on Netflix, they're so well written, except for Defenders was a piece of shit. I just got done rewatching that.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck happened here? Who did they let write this crap? Because Daredevil was like, some of that stuff was absolutely brilliant writing. And especially Luke Cage. That was another one. Jessica Jones was pretty good. It wasn't as good as those other two. Iron Fist, a lot of people didn't like Iron Fist. I liked that first season. To me was really cool, but then Defenders was like, whoa, they just dropped the ball on that. But I do like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and because again, it's really well written for the most part, and so it really helps me to with laying out the comics and where I want to go and certain scenes set up. So that's where I go back to.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Randy, what do you use, or what do you go back to?
Usually I'm eager to get to comic book work, wading through commercial artwork. But if I ever need my batteries recharged, I've got a wide variety of comics here and Showcase Presents and Essentials that all you need to do is pick one up just blindly and sit there and start looking through it. As far as books that I always go back to, Watchmen every couple of years, Archie Goodwin's and Simonson's Manhunter probably every year. I end up really going through and breaking that down and looking at it. And every time you go through that, you pick up more stuff. You pick up a subtle, another bit of subtlety here or there, because it's such both of them are such genius works. But other than that, we've all got our favorites, and I love collecting the large volumes of, like I said, the Essentials and Showcase Presents. The 2000 AD properties are all collected in large phone books like that as well, and they're always worth reading. I think Judge Dredd's up to volume 25 as far as just huge 500-page collections. And I tell everybody, if you haven't actually read the 2000 AD Judge Dredd's or Strontium Dog or a Rogue Trooper, you really need to go through and read those, because it is really genius stuff. And it's right as a lot of these guys that in American comics you like Grant Morrison and all of the English guys all cut their teeth on the 2000 AD material. That's how they learned to do what they did. And Pat Mills doesn't get enough appreciation, and he knows it. That's his personality. For what he did on the 2000 ADs at that time, and how much he ended up helping Vertigo and DC by bringing all of this talent out, training all this talent. And then Karen Berger went over across the pond and grabbed them all for Vertigo. So,
yeah,
but it's just great stuff. There's so many great examples, so many great periods in there in comics. Carlos is talking about the Paul Smith material, but for X-Men, for me, it's that John Byrne, everything from Giant Size X-Men 1 all the way up through John Byrne and Terry Austin's runs, just classic stuff.
I missed it.
Oh,
I was out of the biz. My brother is the one that read the because he stayed and collected comics throughout that whole. So he experienced a Byrne. He's adores it. And he's the one that kind of got me into John Byrne, because he's the one that experienced that. I was out those 4-year period that I was out. That was during the Byrne X-Men run. So I'm experienced it by reading the reprints.
Yeah.
I got in.
It's still incredible stuff. First 50 Teen Titans as well. It's just amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
I got in around 135 of the X-Men, just 135, 136. That's when I got in. So yes, I caught it right at the tail end, but then I managed to backtrack. But that stuff was awesome.
I was into X-Men as they were reprinting them, and was really enjoying them. And then boom, Giant Size X-Men 1 come out, and that was it for me. I love that book. I tore my first issue of that up. Dissecting the Cockrum's work and personality and all that. I went back and dug up all the Legion material that he had done, and just loved that. And that really increased my love for Legion of Superheroes, was the stuff that he did during
That's what got me going out to buy that X-Men, because when we got to Washington State, my best friend from New Orleans actually had moved there, and I didn't know. And we were in school, and we ran into each other, and then he invited me to stay at his place, and he had this giant like a refrigerator box full of comic books. And one of the comic books that was in there that he had was Giant Size X-Men number 1. And that's where my ding ding ding, I was like, whoa. And it was Giant Size X-Men number 1. He had like Ghost Rider, and that, along with the comics that my brother let me read while we were on the trip. That's what made me go, I need to go to the store and pick up some comic books. And that was, of course, the Paul Smith era. But But yeah, he had all those old X-Men that I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Just classic stuff.
And he ended up selling it. He traded all that for the entire Ghost Rider run, 1 through 82. He kicks himself to this day, but it's like,
yeah. What can you do when you're young like that?
Yeah. Outside of comics, it's old movies. Anything that's got a noir edge to it, especially the hard-boiled detective type stuff, I really enjoy. I love Bogart. Love Marx Brothers, though that's not noirish or anything like that. It's just pure zaniness. Old pulp novels. I enjoy old copies of pulp books, Doc Savage and Shadow and Spider, that kind of stuff is always inspiring. Old Edgar Rice Burroughs material is always fun. Howard and Lovecraft and all that. You can catch most of those on audio reads here on YouTube if you look hard enough. Pretty much all of that stuff's in audio book form. It's always great when you're sitting there doing tedious commercial work or like inking work or whatever, to put one of those on and just listen all day. It's great stuff.
True. Mr. Michael, what do you recharge with?
Mostly being drawing and everything. I have a lot of sketchbooks from other people, from Francisco Herrera. I take a look at those, Oscar Martin, those type of sketchbooks. As far as a comic's concerned, I will go and look through the steampunk comic book by Chris Bacalo. A lot, just because of the way he uses blacks in that is just so phenomenal. I just like. I don't know if that necessarily recharges my batteries or makes me shrink. As far as reading is concerned, I was telling them this morning, I picked up a couple of these essentials, the Marvel essentials, and looking at that, Howard the Duck and Steve Gerber and some of that, and some of the and a Ghost Rider one. So looking at that, I don't know if I think it's a combination of everything there, because you have more narrative to it than you do in modern comics mostly, but also I don't know what it is. It's about the feel of that book. It still has those thin, almost, I don't know if it's necessarily newspaper print pages.
Newsprint,
but yeah. And it's something about that just draws me to it, especially the smell. It just draws me to it and re-energizes me.
I miss that smell.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Back during that period, though, you had writers working on those books. Steve Gerber was a writer. Don McGregor was a writer. Chris Claremont was a writer. They actually sat there and build characters, build stories. Of course, some of it was really formulaic. You'd start reading these books in a row and you get to see the same little arc working over and over again. But these guys truly became masters of that art form and tried to stretch it out as imaginatively as they could. They were creative people back then. Howard the Duck, you're never going to see a satirical book like Howard the Duck out there again. It's just not going to happen.
They were creative people who grew up on comic books, unlike today, where all of these guys that are writing comic books were writers for freaking TV and movies, or writing novels. It's novelists, TV writers, and movie writers now, and they don't hire people that grew up reading comics and have that storytelling DNA ingrained in them. It's people who have serialized, but it's different because TV and that's different from comic books.
It is. It really is.
But also,
you go back and reread the first Babylon 5s that Joe Straczynski wrote for DC, the first Babylon 5 comics. They are horrible. They're terribly dry and mismanaged and just literal pieces of crap, even though it takes place in a universe that he created. That's because he didn't understand comic book pacing and what it takes to do a interesting comic book story. He learned how to do it. Obviously, because some of his later works are just genius. But it took him a while to get, even an accomplished writer like Straczynski, it took him a while to acclimate to the sequential art format.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, like, for me as an artist, because I didn't originally quote unquote write, I drew, but I was also a film student. Now, I never made a film. Okay, guys, so maybe this helps. But what I did was that for Sepulchre, that's like the first book I did, the volume 1, is that I essentially, like, how I wrote it was storyboarded through the thing. So it just kind of like would see it in my mind and see how it paced. So it's like, if I go and, like, I'm working with a writer now on a comic, I'm not getting into it right now because we just started it, but later on. But it's the pacing and the subject matter, which I'm not saying I'm completely familiar with because I'm not a vet, but I've been through similar situations where it's sort of like the pacing I get, you know, on that. And it's like, for me, I think it's kind of, maybe I kind of do it in an Alex Ross kind of way. And now again, I don't paint panels. I mean, that guy is amazing. Like how he paints comic book panels and he makes it dynamic. No one else does that. Like Alex Ross, he's the only one that I know that really fucking does that. I mean, David Mack would probably be the second one, would be the only second one that does that. But it's just like, you know, I kind of just see the movie play in my head. So it's interesting to me that TV and movie people don't know how to write for comics, because you would think, like, in your head you see this. But I think maybe because what's different with comic scripts is that it's more freeform. They allow the artist to draw it out more. They're not as anal about it as a script would be, perhaps.
Well, the thing is, when you get to the Marvel method of writing, like you're talking about, it got handed over to veterans, people that had been drawing comics for 20, 30 years at that point, and they knew how to structure a 20, 22-page story. Ditko and Kirby especially are just, they were masters at it. So a quick call from Stan, hey, Jack, what do you want to draw this month? Well, I want to draw a guy from Africa that literally whips the Fantastic Four's butt because he's so competent. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Click. And then Jack would sit there and have it all paced out, 20 pages, and boom, 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 boom. Just sit there and get it done. You know, the great thing about these old comics that you have to remember is they were hitting monthly deadlines like there was no tomorrow. And these guys were technicians. They had it down as almost reflex in the back of their head. They knew that by this page, this had to happen. By that page, this had to happen. And everything had to be rolled up and resolved by page 22 or kicked off in a cliffhanger ending that would make the reader want to come back for more.
Yeah.
And
so
you don't see that formula working anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we switched to a different formula. Like when I was working with some of the stories with my friend Lawrence Hubbard, you know, Raw Dog of Real Deal, like we were talking about formula. Like, okay, so you know how these characters work because you've read the comic enough about that and how they operate, you know, you get the idea of formula and how they would be and how they would do. And I don't know if the other generation is taught that, or this desire for approval is so strong that they want to do it in a way that kind of overshadows what the character really is, I think. But it's like they don't follow a certain formula. Like they go like, well, I follow formula. This is how it. No, you don't. You don't follow what the fucking character would do. That's part of the formula. Are you familiar enough with these fucking characters and shit? Right. So it's like, if you're familiar enough with the characters, you don't need to know every fucking canon thing about the goddamn thing. But come on, know the formula, how they're going to do, or know how they're going to go and have the logic of doing what they do. Like, okay, Psylocke, I like her, right? I know her fucking logic about what she would generally do if I wrote about her. But I mean, I don't have to know every little single fucking goddamn thing about her, you know, but I would have to know enough to know how it would move forward or how she would react in a certain thing or my take on it. Right. But instead, you have people say, oh, okay, well, we're going to just make her do this and that. And the other thing is like, that makes no fucking sense. That's not how the character is. So you have people writing this shit and you're like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, don't insert all these stupid ass things into it. And it's like, oh, but you know, I want to go and like make this an approval of like how it does on the check this. And it's like, okay, yeah, you can do that, but there's a way of doing that where you don't make it look so shitty.
That goes back to your I am not Starfire remarks that you made earlier.
Yeah, right.
You know, not counting the artist, I meant the writer was inserting herself in there and wandering the story, who knows where at her whim.
Yeah, but also the editors don't want to edit, right? The editors don't want to tell these creators, hey, look, it needs to go in this direction. I think also those creators, they either have never read the work before, They have no reverence or respect for what was done
That's
before.
it.
So they're like, screw it. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. And I think
the
that
big
has a
word
lot-
is respect there.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a way to do it where you're not a fucking idiot about it, but some people do it. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You look so stupid. Like, you didn't even, like, okay, if it's an established character, okay, you kind of have to think about it as your kid. Like, okay, your kid is not this fucking malleable little fucking thing that's brainless. Okay, they're going to have their own personality. They're going to have their own logic. They're going to have their own thinking. How are you going to make them do something? And if you just say, oh, yeah, fucking Starfire, now she's like this evil bitch that like fucking never pays attention to her daughter. It's like, how the fuck does that make sense? You would think that she would at least check in with her daughter every so fucking often. Or at least her daughter would say, you know, Mom, I don't want to talk right now. Okay, my daughter doesn't want to talk right. If they had inserted that into the story, I would understand. But they fucking didn't. And it was just stupid. And I was just like, okay, this is dumb. I mean, it's just like, that's why I couldn't connect with the story, because it just, I knew enough about Starfire. I mean, again, I don't know all of her nuances. I don't know all the changes, but I know enough about her when I've read about her that she's a certain way. So there would be a certain logic path she would follow.
Right.
But no, they don't fucking do that. They just go ahead and, oh, well, she's just not in the picture at all. She's a total, like, fucking, like, deadbeat mom. And, like, come the fuck on. At least she would check in with her daughter every so often.
Yeah.
if not all the time. Mark.
Yes, sir.
What do you do to recharge?
It's actually funny because I would say that during the pandemic, I have not gone back to anything. I just constantly look for new stuff. And before the pandemic, I would say that my inspiration in recharging is meeting all the independent creators at conventions and picking up whatever books that they are happy to part with. And I read that for inspiration. So I really don't go back as I used to as a young Mark, where I used to go and see certain movies more often or read certain comics. I used to love Peter David stuff. But now I really don't. It's weird that you mentioned that. I don't know.
Gotcha. All right, cool. For myself,
wait. Let me throw in a Peter David story since we're talking about writers.
Talk about Peter David.
My favorite writer, Peter David. He was talking about an issue of the Incredible Hulk that he wrote, where the Hulk Bruce Banner was stuck on a ship with some scrolls, I believe, and the ship blew up. And when he got to the last page, he realized that Rick Jones was still on the ship, and he had forgotten that he was still on the ship. So he wrote in that he had a parachute that he always keeps with him in case he's ever in an exploding ship to jump out of. And that's what happened. So at the last panel, he shows up on a parachute, and Bruce Banner goes, "Hey, where are you?" He goes, "Oh, I just jumped out with this parachute I had just in case I'm in an exploding spaceship." And he's like, "Well, that's preposterous." And he says, "Well, I needed it, didn't I?" And he was speechless. So that's he remembered that he forgot it. So that's why he put that in. So I want to throw it in there for people writing stories.
But now, for continuity's sake, he's always have to have that parachute from now on.
Yes.
Wilson says, every few years I reread Ronin and Silver Age comics, but I also like to see animated movies, Studio Ghibli, and anything creative gets the juices flowing. Yep, those are good films.
Ghibli. Yeah.
The problem is that a decade of shitty commentary videos taught new writers that tropes and cliches are bad things to avoid instead of literary tools.
Hey, Dan, what's up?
Hello, Dan.
Dan says, hello, friends. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, for myself, you guys hit on a lot of the stuff. It was, Walter Simon's story, Frank Miller's Daredevil. I do hit on a few other things. Warren Ellis's Planetary is one of those things I really enjoy reading every now and again. And then as far as books, Randy said it, Lovecraft. I go back to Roger Zelazny every now and again, and once in a while I'll go back and I'll poke at Dune. And there's a few other things that I want to get back to. As far as movies, I think Legend, Labyrinth, and probably Conan, the first one. I'll go back to every now and again and rewatch. So yeah, that's what I do. Now, before we move on, before we wrap up the show, I want to pull up. There's only one other person other than myself who has a campaign running. My campaign, go check it out. The Oswald Chronicles, go get it. But I want to pull up Christie's campaign real quick, so at least we can take a quick look at it.
And as he's pulling it up, let me remind you that if you cannot financially support a Kickstarter campaign, you can always like, share, and tell other people about it. That also helps as well.
Why is this? Hold on.
I put it in the private chat.
No. I have it. Of course, I'm having problems pulling it up for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes, like with most of the people, like there's like most of them, like I put it in the private chat just as a habit because a lot of them ask for that too. But it's like sometimes like it's other things, so it's like I'm also kind of tired too. Oh, there we go. Hey,
Infinity.
Oh God.
We get the infinity thing. Oh, it sucks. All right.
Where are we in the movie? We're right now.
Exactly. It's like I'm pulling it up. Christy, do you want? Oh, hold on. Let me see if you do it this way. What is that? No, that's weird. That is so bizarre. Normally it comes up. Christy, do you want to pull it up on your end and then share it? And then I'll just pull it up on the screen.
Okay. So do you want me to go ahead and okay. Let me do this. Hold on.
Yeah. Just hit share.
Okay, let's do this. Okay. All right. Share. Share screen. There we go. See if you can do that. All right.
Woohoo!
There we go. Nice.
So
There it is.
4,922. I need to get to 7K. I got 18 days to go, guys.
Nice.
Jump on that shit. So, you want me to play the video?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, it's me again. Christie Shinn, owner of Torres Studios, located in smoggy old Los Angeles, California. I'm the creator of Demon Bitch, a godforsaken demon from the 13th pit of hell, where people throw their dog shit in gum wrappers. She aspires to be Hell's General, but is an incredible idiot as Armageddon hasn't happened yet. Or has it? Well, that's a debate for another time. Demon is easily distracted by hard drugs, promiscuous sex, and other dumb attention-seeking shit that she hasn't made of herself yet. You might recall my other successful Kickstarter campaigns, Demon Bitch, I Told You So, and Demon Bitch Off the Wagon Panhandling Tour. And you can help contribute to making those campaigns. Thank you, because there's more. In this installment, I am introducing a new graphic novel of hers called Triggered. What can I say? That pretty much describes the state of the world in the past 2 years. Anyway, it's a compilation of when Demon Bitch was stuck inside my very house and I had to do everything in my power to keep from going nuts. Also, we've got a computer game in the mix entitled Demon Bitch Disgusting Dumpster Fire. It's a game centered around Demon Bitch getting, well, attention. She always needs more. It's your job to get her some and fill that black hole she has inside of herself unless she learns to love herself. Fuck that. You'll have to maintain it by getting her likes on social media by acting pathetic through dishonest means and stupid antics, of which I'm sure is pretty amusing to everyone. Anyway, the first level of this game will be available to beta test by July 2022. We're working feverishly on it on our own self-induced slave labor camps, and we're probably going to break down and cry soon. And of course, we are introducing more swag and viable shit to make the deal sweeter. First of all, we have art here at Hyde Hermit Studios. They provided the best ever fucking artwork for this stuff to buy. We have the Tamabichi pins and original art by Ninja Kai by aka Connie Huang. Just looking at her stupid fucking face will make you want one. We have Demon Tiki shit in both a patch and sticker by Dallas Hoisington. He really loves this shit. Please get it because it will make him so happy. And I like making people happy. Last but not least, we also have artwork in the form of a charming pin from Mary Zorlia Bellin. Remember Demon? That will now be a charm to grace your purse, your backpack, and your legal sack of goods. I'm not getting into that because I ain't no snitch. Also, we will showcase a signed 3-print pack, of which you can buy each one separately, of Demon Bitch being, well, Demon Bitch. We also have stretch goals. Past a certain point, we will make Triggered into a hardcover option, as well as pasties, and maybe some magnets or whatever I can pull out of my ass at the last minute if this thing explodes. Either way, it will be fun. Imagine having Demon Bitch magnet on your fridge. Well, maybe not. Either way, I've been good at getting the shit to you folk. Back me again for another hell-laden and dysfunctional ride to the literary side, and may your temperature rise with the tide. There you go.
There you go. Nice.
So, is she an actual demon?
Yes, she is. Because I had somebody come up to me. It was actually funny. One of my friend's kids, she's a girl, and she was kind of a little concerned because, she's a teenager. She has to learn about these things. It's like, doesn't Demon Bitch advocate violence against women? And my answer was, she's a demon. I don't care. I actually, here's another thing too. I actually got into trouble with Facebook because I said I wanted to hit Demon Bitch with a lead pipe. And then they fucking restricted me for a few days. I'm like, what the fuck is this bullshit? And I'm like, so, okay, there are people that I've known of that have actually physically threatened other people online. And unless they get reported, they don't get shit. But for me, I got restricted immediately. Like, you can't have this for like a few days. I said, well, okay, fuck y'all. My funding will go through the roof. And guess what? I actually got funded like almost 20% the past week.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck you both. And it's like, yeah, Dan's been a great contributor too. Some of you guys have already contributed, which I thank you already for, but share and all that stuff. But if you guys haven't contributed yet, please, I'm at 70%. I'm so close.
Mhm.
So
You're gonna
and I write offensive thank you notes. I forget. Nita's actually, I think, given. She says I think you guys have given and sent the offensive thank you note, and they're really awful and disgusting. I always send custom ones. Like, you will get one pretty much right away.
Nice.
So
there you go. Yeah, get the Demon Bitch book and an offensive note. I like it. Nice.
Oh, and I also signed the paper. I signed the paperback or hardcover books. I'll write all sorts of fucked up shit in them too. Okay. I personally tell them all the time. Like, I'm thankful that people want to give me their money. So it's like, unlike Demon Bitch, I don't fucking take it and don't give you shit. I actually like sign it and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I actually give you signed prints and shit. Like, Zoralita will go and sign the prints. She's actually done stuff. She's actually done stuff for My Little Pony, the card game. Like, that's being released now. I think I don't know if you can still pre-order it, but it's being released soon. So she did some of the Demon Bitch prints and the Animu Demon. So check that out. The Tamabitchi pins are done by another thing. And that piece of art that was in that video, that sold out immediately. That was immediately sold. Now you get 3 different ones. If you go into the campaign, you get different ones like right here. That's There Is No God. This is, this was based off somebody that I knew was an intention horror. So this is called Pink Eye. And Pink Eye and a Broken Ankle. This one is Band-Aid because it looks like a Band-Aid. This one is like Turd Sucker. They're all $50 a piece. You can order more than one of these guys on the checkout. But yeah, definitely you can get pieces of original art. I still am offering them. On top of that, I have the paperback book. And if you can get a hardcover version, just pay about $10 more and you'll get it. And also, there's the Tamabitchi pins that have the glow in the dark, and you can do a bunch of add-ons. You can customize your shit. And if you can't, let me know, and then I'll go ahead and customize it for you. Like, I'll even name a reward after you. And also, we have the beta test of the first level of the game that will hopefully be available by July 2022. So, yeah, you can go to my program on how much it sucks, too. It's about Demon Bitch needing to get attention or she'll die.
Now, you said this was issue, the 4th campaign. Is this issue 4 or is this book 4?
It is book 4. It is book 4, and it's the 4th campaign of Demon Bitch.
Okay, so beginning, middle, end for this book.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
self-contained story with continuity ties to the previous issues, and then hopefully more in the future. Correct?
It's not that sophisticated. It's just stupid shit that I had to deal with during COVID for the last 2 years with her.
I'm trying to help you.
I mean, the thing is that Demon Bitch doesn't really have continuity other than she's a stupid drug user, and that's a fucking piece of shit. That's what's great about Demon Bitch, and it introduces the new character Shipbird.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you want a real asshole book, just get it, and I'll sign it.
There you go. Now, is it mostly like strips, like single panel or single page strips, or is it like a straight story?
Well, there's a couple of times where I've done like a continuous story if I didn't feel fucking lazy, but most of the time, it's like one panel cartoons because it's one shot. I hope I don't get restricted by saying one shot because people get all, oh no. But there's like one shot, but then there's also like a small little comic strip. Sometimes I'll do it.
Gotcha. All right, cool. All right, everybody, we've made it to the end one more time. So thank you so much for being here. All of you are awesome. But before we go, please, we'll start with Christie. Please let everybody know where they can find you and your work.
Well, you can find me on everything on my link tree at Horror Torres Studios. I've got that. But right now we have the Kickstarter, and that's also in the description box. So guys, please give today. Get me closer to 100% fulfilled so you can get your tasty ass rewards. You don't want to lick them though, because they probably have germs on it. You probably want to check them first. I mean, I do test out my products, so like shit is near indestructible. So you're good on that. But I got to just say to you, just basically just give as much as you can. I mean, I've got 18 days, but I don't want to wait till the very end. I want to get gravy so I can get the pasties out to everybody. And, come on, we want to see Rich dance around in pasties, too. I told him not to shave or to wax.
Oh,
Nice. Carlos,
All
where
right.
can I find you work, sir?
You can find me at championcomicsgroup.com, facebook.com/Champion Comics Group. And you can find me on Twitter, which is the Carlos F. Raphael, and then at Champion Comics Group on Instagram. So I need that link tree, but until that time, that is where you will find me. And hopefully we'll be launching June 1st for the new Remarkables #2.
There you go. Nice. Randy, where can they find you, sir?
Hey, you can find me on Facebook. Look for me there. Don't look for me on Twitter. I'm there under Randy Zim, but we all know Twitter is a cesspool of hate. I have a link tree for Arrow Comics 4.0, which means there's an Instagram, there's a Twitter, there's a Facebook page for Arrow Comics that will be added to here eventually. Other than that, you can look for me on Tuesday on Dispatches from Outside the Box at 9 p.m. Then there's the Zimcast on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the Raging 2 Network. And also on Sunday mornings, I have a more lighthearted, passionate look at comics as the Sunday Funnies over there at 9 a.m. on Sunday. But all of these are archived over at the Raging 2 Network. So go over there and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications and look at their other great programming there besides. Plus, we're part of that Long Shots campaign over on Indiegogo and the Fellowship of the Indies over on Kickstarter. Definitely go over there and take a look at those campaigns. Very important. These books are really pretty. You're never going to find better printed books. Each one's 32 pages. 6 out of the 9 are in color. The other 3 are in beautiful black and white, and should be in black and white because of the line work and the they're just meant to be in black and white. Then other than that, look for my sign-up page for my graphic novel here coming shortly. Hopefully within the next couple of months, I'll have that posted up there. And that'll probably be on Indiegogo. So,
all right, cool. Mr. Lanning, before you go, hold on. Let me just throw these up real quick. I got restricted for saying the word beaten. Ack. Christie, the modern far side.
With a lot of fucking shit.
So I just got here. You're ending. Sorry, I missed you guys.
But at least you're here, right? Yeah.
I'm getting pushed out, so I got to say bye, guys.
All right.
Okay, Carlos.
Take
All right,
care.
Carlos, have a good one.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a great show, and love you guys. You guys.
Best of
take
luck
care.
to you, man.
Yes,
Thank
Carlos,
you.
we hope your situation gets better, buddy.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Take care.
I appreciate it.
We'll pass.
Yep. It won't
All right.
last. Yeah.
No.
We'll see you.
Take care, Carlos. Michael, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
all right. Check out my link tree. See my link tree / see Michael Lanning, and of course also, as Randy mentioned it, Tuesdays 9 p.m. Eastern. Dispatches from Outside the Box. This week we're talking about time travel, so come check that out.
Ooh, I love time travel.
Mark.
All right, best place to find me is www.itcamefromtheradio.com. We are the official show of the radio show of the Big Apple Con. You can hear us every Monday through Friday after 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Westchester County on 88.1 FM WARY. If you're not living in that area, you can go online, and we are on over 40 podcast places, including such as places Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those fun things. And also you can hear us on Thursdays at 4 p.m. on BTD.radio, Sci-Fi.radio on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. and an Indie Vote on 6 p.m. on Fridays. And we have a live show every month. It's the second Wednesday of every month, courtesy of the East Meadow Public Library in East Meadow, New York. Our next live show will be on May 11th with writer and in charge of Apex Comics Group, Mario Nicieza. I always mess that up.
All right, cool. Well, my name is JD Calderon, and you can find me here every Sunday, or just about every Sunday, except for the Sundays I take off. And once in a while, Once in a while, I'll do one-on-one interviews. I got to get Christie on one, so we can have her on, and we can talk more about Demon Bitch, which I think would be really funny. And you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, under JD Calderon on the DeviantArt. Just go there. You can find me there. Go check out the Oswald Chronicles. Go check out the Fellowship of the Indies, and go check out the if you're on Indiegogo, or if you prefer Indiegogo, go check out the Long Shots. So I'll be talking to you all later. Thank you all. All you guys are awesome. The other two gentlemen who left, they were all cool, except for that guy, Rich Perotta. No, I'm only joking. Rich is cool people. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. See you soon.